Okay everyone, welcome back to another video on the channel. Today we're back on GT Sport and we're back with a track guide and setup for Daily Race B at Tsukuba in the RX-7. Now this combination is allowing setups. I've never really entered into anything to do with setups in my life on Gran Turismo. I did used to do a fair bit on the original Assetto Corsa and Project Cars, etc. So I thought what I'll try and do is, it took me about 15-20 minutes of just quick, very quick basic changes what I did to the setup. Now this is not an in-depth setup, this is just something just to try and get the car a little bit more competitive. I'm not going to state this is one of the best setups you'll ever get on the game, but what it will do is it will definitely give you the ability to compete on a more even ground. There are changes that you'll be able to make this a lot faster. I've tried to make the car as stable, it's a little bit understeering, which is kind of what I went for to try and make it easier to drive, and it's still got reasonable lap paces. We're still in the top 10 stars with the lap that we've done with this setup. So we'll go through the track guide and then I'll give you the setup after. So going into turn 1, obviously the final corner, make sure that you try and take a wide line for the start of your lap to get the maximum speed down straight. Now one thing with this car is you need to short shift it. Watch the short shifting that I'm doing. You do not want to rev this car into the first braking zone. I use that end of that tarmac line there as my reference from when I'm going to hit the brakes. You can see straight on the brakes there, pretty much dead on the end of that tarmac. Now downshifting into turn 1, you'll see I'll go down to 4th gear, then 3rd gear, and I'm not going to go lower than 3rd gear. I'm actually going to go early up into 4th gear when we get to the apex of the corner. You want to try and swing this car through to the apex. You don't want to get onto the curb, because if you get on the curb, you're going to see that the car will tend to rotate a bit too much and you'll lose traction. Early upshift into 4th, accelerate out the corner, and then again we're going to early upshift into 5th down the straight, and then into the next braking zone. You're going to see I'm going to brake a little bit before this curb on the right hand side. We're going to brake a little bit before that. You'll see the braking inputs going in now, fractionally before the curb, and you're going to try and get your left hand tire to follow that white line almost. You'll see that TRL Adam also takes that kind of line through the corner also, and you see this red line across the track. This is pretty much where I'm going to start chucking the car into this next corner. You see we want to take it very close to the apex. You see TRL Adam goes for a slightly wider line. That's going to actually increase his exit speed. He does that a little bit better. I take a more narrow line through this corner, which gives me better into the apex speed, but then he's going to come out the corner with a lot more stability and speed. So there's 2 different lines you can take through there. Early upshift into 4th gear, and then we're going to hit our braking point. I use this shadow on the right hand side as kind of a reference where just to lift off, get a little bit of braking inputs in. You'll see the braking inputs, just a tiny dab of the brakes. You don't want to be too aggressive. What you're aiming to do here is just put the weight onto the front tyres so that you can get on the power nice and early. You see I'm trying to aim my right hand tyre to almost get over the sandy dirt on the right hand side. You see you can take it so you just skim the apex, but I like to get up on that curve and then get on the throttle as nice and early as possible. Into 5th gear early through this corner, very important. Dulls the power slightly, and then you get the torque that builds up, and you almost slide the car through this long left hand corner, and then again into the next braking zone. You're going to be aiming to brake just short of the curb, that, well, the green bit of Astro on the left hand side. You see I use that as a reference point. I brake pretty much dead on that, just short. You see there, early braking in there. And now downshifting through the gears into this very tight right hand corner. Now you don't go down to 2nd gear, I stay in 3rd gear, try and hold it to the apex, and again you can see TRL Adam, I think he might have a slightly different brake bias or something, but he's able to rotate the car a little bit better than me. Could be setup based as well. Like I said, I did create a setup that did have a tendency to understeer. And then out the corner, on the power as early as possible from that corner is vital. You need to be on the throttle as early as possible, and then upshifting early through the gears. You see again, we're really short shifting this car because it's so much faster when you short shift, especially with the gearing that I've put on this car. And then into the final corner, you're going to go down into 5th gear quite early. You see I use the board on the right side as kind of a reference. I do it by visuals. There is a shadow across the track, but it's very hard to spot. Down into 4th gear, I braked a fraction too late there. You can see I've took a very wide line. You can see almost now the tighter line. You can see in the mirror how much the Ghost has actually gained me my previous lap. But the advantage of this line is you're going to get a stronger exit speed. However, it is better for your overall 1 lap pace to take a tighter line through there. Probably lost maybe half a tenth to a tenth from that one corner. So there is a 59.4 available in this lap. I think maybe a 3 if you really nail it with this setup. But like I said, it's not the ultimate setup. It's just a very quick setup that I've just done just to try and help you out. It took me about 20 minutes just to put some baseline setups together. I quite enjoyed doing setups. I did used to like doing them on Assetto Corsa, but I did used to spend a little bit longer on some of them. This one is just pretty much there just to give you a help and just give you a bit more performance in the race. So we'll have a little watch of that lap again from the chase camera. You see Again, you'll see I take quite tight lines, and that again is something I probably could change with the camera angles. I could probably go a little bit more aggressive. I ran these quite low, these camera angles. You could probably go up to maybe 3 on each, on the front and rear, maybe 2.9 with a slightly more front camber than the rear camber to rotate the car a little bit more. Obviously more camber on the front is going to give you a better front end, and if you go more on the rear, it's going to have a tendency to understeer the car a little bit more. So if you want to make them changes, I didn't change, one thing I didn't change with the setup was the differential settings, the LSD settings. So again, there's probably changes you can make within them that would improve the handling of this car. So we'll jump onto the setup menu and have a little look of the changes that we made and what I did. It's very basic, like I say. Obviously you have to put your car to the power of the race. Going through to the setups, you can see I did alter the ride height quite low. I didn't go maximum down though. I think I could have gone a little bit low on the front end to create a bit more rotation in the braking and obviously on acceleration. I did adjust the camber angles, the toe in and the toe out on both the front and rear, made it so it's a lot more stable through the corners, and also on the gearing. Now there is quite a lot of gearing changes on this. I've mainly just lowered the final gear to make them a lot closer together so that you're getting through the gears a lot faster, and you'll see that you get a lot better acceleration than other cars using that gearing that I've got there. I also did alter the 4th gear very slightly. You will notice on the 4th gear it was dropped down to 103, so just try and get that if you want to copy the exact settings that I've used in this setup. Anyway, I hope that very quick setup has helped you out. Obviously it's not the most in-depth setup, it's just myself having a few quick changes just to try and help you out and increase your speed for race beam. Now, I may possibly try and alter that setup and improve it a little bit more if I have time. All depends on FIA practice and other stuff that I'm doing throughout the week. But I hope you enjoyed that setup, hope you enjoyed that lap, hope it helps you out, and I'll see you all very soon for more videos. Thanks again for watching, everyone.